Since our regular lessons for our life cycles are actually all finished, I thought I would use today to kind of do some activities for you or with you that go along with chickens and butterflies and other animals. Of course, remember, all living things have life cycles. So this goes along with our life cycle unit. I'm going to do the first part kind of with you and let you watch. And then there are 2 activities that you can do on your own at home, just something fun that you can do to kind of practice this and think a little more about our life cycles. So this first activity is called animal life spans. A span is a word we use when we talk about how long something is. So like a butterfly's wingspan is how wide or how long their wings are. A lifespan would then be how long something's life is. This is going to be average. So if you look at the animals down the side right here, including humans, boys and girls, this is how long most of the animals in this type or this category live, how long their lives are. We know that some animals do die early on and some live a little bit longer than others, but this is going to be how long most of them live, okay? This is going to pull back some of your math lessons that you learned about with graphs and data. So we're going to look at this graph to track how long different animals live. Got it? We're going to start with these cards that have tally marks on them. See the tally marks? Different types of tally marks. So we'll practice counting tally marks, and then we're going to record that data on our graph right here. Okay, the first one, and I put on the card a painted lady butterfly for butterfly, because different kinds of butterflies have different lifespans. The painted lady butterfly lives for about 1 year. We're measuring in years, 1 year. So we're going to record that on our data, our graph here. Down at the bottom, it's labeled age in years, but look what else I see on the bottom. What is it counting by, friends? It's not counting by ones, it's counting by 5s, right? So how do I put 1 year when there's no number 1 on the graph? Well, if one box is 5 years, I know 1 year is going to be much smaller than that. So I'm going to have to be kind of careful here on the side. And right here, I'm just going to make a tiny mark. I'm going to make my line and then color it in. So that's going to represent that painted lady butterflies live about 1 year. All right, next is the army ant. And again, different types of army ants live for different lengths of time. This is the queen ant. They call it the queen. Let's count these tally marks and see how long most army ant queens live. I know that this is a group of 5, right? So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Wow! Did you know an ant could live for 30 years? This note here says the other army ants only live for 1 to 3 years. So like the worker ants and the other types are much shorter lifespans, but the queen can live 30 years. Let's go ahead and color in 30 on our chart. So here's the ant, and I know 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. I'm going to make my line and then color it in. That's a long time for a little tiny insect. 30 years. Okay, next is the shark. Any idea how long sharks usually live? There it is. Let's count. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So 25 years, that's a pretty good long lifespan. But isn't it crazy that a tiny ant actually lives longer? So here we go. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Make my mark and color it in. Do you see the bars on my bar graph starting to show? A chimp. Do you know what a chimp is? The full name is actually chimpanzee, and it's kind of like a monkey. That's a lot of tally marks. Let's count. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Wow! Chimpanzees can live 50 years. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. I'm making sure it matches up with my line down there. I make my end line and then color it in. 50 years. Wow. All right, do you think do you think most crocodiles live longer than chimpanzees or not as long? Their lifespan. Their lifespan is right here. You ready to count? All right, count with me. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70. Crocodiles can live about 70 years. So coming down here on my graph, there's this 70. Be real careful we trace up correctly. Make my line. Wow. Think how much longer this is than that poor painted lady butterfly that only lives for about 1 year. There we go, crocodile. Next is an elephant. All right, you count the tally marks. Go. Are you done? I got 65. I hope that's what you got. So right here, that means crocodiles live a little bit longer than elephants do. Their lifespan is a little longer. What is the difference, friends? What's the difference between the lifespan of a crocodile and the lifespan of an elephant? What is the lifespan difference there? Remember when we're finding difference? They both kind of have 65 years, but we're looking for this extra part. What's different, right? We're subtracting. So 70 minus 65. This is the difference right here. Crocodiles live 5 years longer than elephants. The last one is human. Let's count these together. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79. So humans, most humans, have a lifespan of about 79 years. I think most of us might know people who have lived longer than that, but sometimes people die before that age. And that's why this is called an average. Most people live to be about 79. So let's color that in. How are we going to find 79? I know 79 is bigger than 75 and smaller than 80, but it's a little bit closer to 80. 79 is very close to 80. So I won't quite make my end line all the way to 80, but almost. So out of all of the animals on this page, humans have the longest lifespan. Although in the world, there are some animals who live longer than humans. Maybe you could do some research if you have internet access or have some books from the library. I wonder if you could find out what animal has the longest lifespan. That would be very interesting. All right, thanks friends. Let's move on to our next activities that you can do at home. The next two things we're going to do are activities that you can do at home, and I'm going to kind of walk you through how to get started with these. The first one is this activity that says My Butterfly Words. And I know you don't have this exact paper at home, but this would be really easy to do on regular paper. So I'm going to show you. It has some letters down the side, does not have all the letters of the alphabet. So if you want to pause the video and go get some blank paper and something to write with, then come back and push play again and we'll copy these together. All right, so go ahead. Okay, I see they have A, so I'm just going to write these letters on my paper. B, C, D, E, F. And there's where it skips. I think it skips some letters that might not be as easy to use for this activity. H, I, L, M, N, O, P, S, and T. So I think the person who made this wrote down letters that would be easier to use for this activity. So what we're going to do says, write in a butterfly-related word for each of the following letters. If you cannot think of a word, leave a blank. Let's see how many we can do. So, butterfly words that start with these letters. Oh, I've got a good one for A. A butterfly, when it's an adult, has these things on the top of its head that some people call feelers. The science word for that is an antenna. And if it's just one, it's antenna. But since butterflies have two, the word for that is actually antennae, with an A-E at the end. Antennae. So there's my A word for butterflies. B should be pretty easy. Are you thinking of a good B word for butterflies? How about, ooh, I know, butterfly. Ha. I'm going to skip down and do two more for you. M makes me think of milkweed. Milkweed is a special kind of plant that painted lady butterflies like to lay their eggs on because the caterpillars from those butterflies eat the milkweed leaves. So the adult butterflies actually lay their eggs on milkweed plants. So when the caterpillars hatch out of the eggs, they can immediately start to eat their favorite food. The other word I'm going to put on here is for P. Do you remember this word for butterflies? Pupa. Remember, another name for pupa is a chrysalis. That's the part where they're transforming and changing into the butterfly. See if you can do all the rest of those letters. You might want to pause the video and do it, or you can finish this video and then come back and see if you can fill in all the rest of those letters. I would love to know if you could come up with a good butterfly word for every single one of those letters. Okay, the next activity has to do with our chickens. This says unscramble the scrambled eggs. Does anybody like to eat scrambled eggs? These are words written on eggs, but the letters are all scrambled up and all mixed up. Again, I know you don't have this paper, but you can easily use regular paper and just number to 12. So that's what I'm going to do on another piece of paper. Go on the back here. And I'm just going to make my numbers 1 through 12. 9, 10, 11, 12. Just like that. So now let's look at each egg and see if we can think of or come up with the word that is scrambled up inside each one. Number 1 should be pretty easy. It says G, E, and G. What word could you make from those 3 letters? I hope you said egg. So for number 1 on my paper, I'm going to write the word egg, but I'm going to put the letters in the correct order. E-G-G, egg. Okay? I want to do one more and then I'm going to let you do all the rest. We're going to skip down together to number 9. I really like this one. Look at those letters. Any idea what that is? Something I know about words is every single syllable, like when you clap the syllables, every syllable has to have at least one vowel. Sometimes they have more than one, but they always have to have a vowel. So I'm going to be really careful when I write my syllables and make sure that each part has a vowel in it. I noticed the CU and the B, cub or cube, made me think incubator. That's a good word that has to do with chickens and eggs, remember? That box that heats up the eggs and keeps them warm just like a mama chicken would or a hen. So I think that word is incubator. And I'm going to look at each letter. I see an I-N for the first syllable. That's number 9. I-N. See my vowel for that first syllable? In. Then in cube. Cube. I see C, U, and B. And something else you could do, friends, if you're not sure how to spell these words, go ahead and write the letters on your paper just like they are. So I'm going to write ORCUIBTNA. And then as I use the letters, I'm going to cross them out so I don't accidentally use them again. So I-N for in, C-U-B for cube. And if that word was just cube, it would have a silent E on it. But that's not the end of the word, so we don't have an E on this one. Bay. We have the B. Incubate. There's my A. Tor. And I see T-O and R. Incubator. And let's check our syllables. How many syllables? Incubator. I see 4 syllables. There's incubator. Can you find the vowel that is in every syllable? There's I, a U, an A, and an O. 4 vowels and 4 syllables. Every syllable has a vowel. And that's a great word that goes with our eggs. All right. I'm going to put this back up here so you can see it. And you can pause the video right there. And that way you can look at each of the scrambled up words and see if you can unscramble all of them. Some of those are pretty tricky. Good luck. The last thing I want to look at today are the 2 pictures I have of the eggcam in Nebraska. I know you are probably watching this on Tuesday, June 2nd, but I actually made this video 2 days ago on Sunday. On that day, the eggs in the incubator had not hatched yet, but I noticed people who work there had moved the eggs out of this little yellow tray to this flat bottom. That's because they know the chicks are about to hatch and will need a flat surface to stand on. If you can, after this video, go click the link your teacher shared with you for the egg cam. By the time you're watching this, some of the chicks might have already hatched. One of the eggs has a tiny hole in it already in this video, so I know that they're going to hatch soon. It is so exciting. Get it? I love you guys. Bye for today.